Good evening, everyone. So today's agenda is testing strategy guidelines on Lightning platform. My name is Shantanu Pal. I am Salesforce Certified System and Application Architect. Currently, I am playing technical architect role at Cognizant, as well as I am the community speaker, blogger. Besides this, my interest area is to create game on Lightning platform and also as well. Just few days ago, I have published chess game on Lightning Web Component. Whoever follows me, maybe they will know about this. As well as I have created some of the VS Code extensions. One of them is LWC Coder. It will help to create, it will help to build the Lightning Web Component when you will write in Visual Studio Code. So today's agenda is that about Apex unit test. What is that Apex unit test? Next one is that benefits of writing Apex test class. Then we'll talk about that what are the development tools you need. Three things we will follow in this session. One is that how to execute a test class from Visual Studio Code, how to use third-party tool to see code coverage, as well as we can explore how to execute Lightning Web Component code coverage from Visual Studio Code and how to enhance third-party tool to see Lightning Web Component code coverage as well, to see that the code coverage for LWC. And at last, we can see the guidelines on the testing strategy. At last, we will take questions. So I would like to request you, please put your questions in the chatter window. So at the end of the session, we will take one by one, then we'll try to give those answers. Sessions, obviously these sessions will be recorded. We will share this recording after this session. First is that what is Apex unit test? So Salesforce has provided that Apex testing framework to write and execute tests for Apex classes and triggers on Lightning platform. Basically, by executing test class, you will get to know how much functionality you are able to cover in your Apex class or in your Apex trigger. Test class are nothing but the code snippets by which we can test our Apex classes and triggers. Now, what are the benefits of writing Apex test class? First is that it ensures the stability of our Apex classes and triggers. Definitely, code coverage should be greater than equal to 75% to deploy into production. If you increase the code coverage for your project or for your branch or for your repository, it means that the production and package subscribers more productive, as well as production and package subscribers is having more stability in future. And in each major release, before each major release, Salesforce internally runs all Apex tests on your behalf through a process called Apex Hammer. Whoever wants to know the basic functionality of Apex testing or how to write Apex test class, I would recommend you please go to trailhead.salesforce.com and complete the modules Apex testing and unit testing on the Lightning platform. Next is about the today's objective. Today's objective is not on how to write test class or what are the best practices to follow when you want to write test class. Instead of that, we will see how to execute test class from Visual Studio Code, how to enhance third-party tool to check the organization code coverages, how to check code coverage for Lightning Web Component from Visual Studio Code. So basically 3 points we'll focus for today's session. Okay. So before going to describe the demo or going to show the demo, we have to tell what are the development tools you have to install in your machine. One is that SFDX CLI, which will help you to install the CLI related things, as well as you have to install that the VS Code. All over the links are there. We will share all those links after this session. And after the installation of VS Code, you have to install the Salesforce extension pack. So basically, Salesforce extension pack will help you to create Apex class or Apex trigger or Lightning Web Component in your VS Code. So basically, three primary tools you need to execute the test class or any development in VS Code. Now, the first topic is that how to execute test class from Visual Studio Code. So in Visual Studio Code, we have to enable that the retrieve test code coverage in Visual Studio Code settings. We will show in the demo. Next is that we have to mention the JDK path in Visual Studio Code settings. If you install that the JDK in your D directory or in your C drive, so that path you have to mention in the Visual Studio Code settings. Next is that how do you run the test class from Visual Studio Code? So in Visual Studio Code, you will get the test runners.
So Shantanu, I have a little question over here. First time, let's say as a developer, if you want to do a setup, so what are the main pain points that you have gone through when you start setting up these at your own machine?
Right. So basically, I got an issue. So initially, when I have set up those things in VS Code and I click on that the test runner, at that point I am not able to see any test class in the Apex test section, because later I have found that the JDK path is not correctly mentioned in the Visual Studio Code settings. So that we should maintain the JDK path in the Visual Studio Code settings, and the link is there. If I'll go to the link provided by Salesforce, how to set up JDK path or how to mention the JDK path in VS Code settings. So I'd recommend everyone to go through this link and try to set up that the JDK path in VS Code directory. Next is that how to see. So previous slide we have seen how to set up to see the test code coverage, or how to set up the test code coverage in Visual Studio Code. What are the principles we have to follow before running the test class from Visual Studio Code? In this slide, we will see how to check the code coverage after running the test class from Visual Studio Code. So after running the test class, you will get a link called Highlight Apex Code Coverage at the bottom bar of the Visual Studio Code panel, the Highlight Apex Code Coverage. So when you will click on that, it will show how many lines you have covered during the test class execution.
Sorry to disturb you. So I have one more.
Not an issue,
yeah, I have one more question over here. So you are actually trying to focus on Visual Studio Code, right? Now, from the inception of our Salesforce platform, we have been accustomed with the developer console. So what's the benefits of using VS Code?
Okay, so yes, you are right. Developer console is also the good tool to execute the test class for your project or for your organization. However, Visual Studio Code is lightweight. Visual Studio Code is one-stop solution, as well as it's the most preferable solution or preferable IDE for Salesforce developers. And it will also provide some extensions. It will also always monitor the extension to update, and which will enhance the development in the enrichment way. So basically, if you execute everything from your Visual Studio Code, you don't need to switch to any other IDE or in developer console. In the same platform, you are getting everything. Just like you are developing the Apex class, you are executing test class, you are developing Lightning Web Component, as well as executing Lightning Web Component test script, as well as you can commit your code base to GitHub repository. So you don't need to switch back to any other environment.
So you were telling about that it is my one-stop IDE for a developer to develop our code base as well as testing the code, and then pushing the code to the Git, as well as if I want to deploy the code into the Scratch org, I can do everything from VS Code. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And as you know, just Salesforce has released the code builder in beta version. So that the Visual Studio Code online version, same thing we will get here also in code builder. Okay. Now let's consider one use case to cover our first scenario. One is the use case is that just to show case records from my organization, my home page, Service Cloud application. Let's assume that I am having 20 case records. So I want to see 20 case records in my home page of Service Cloud application when I will log into the system. This is very simple use case. If we want to build this use case, we need to create two things. One is the Lightning Web Component. Basically, we are executing this use case in Lightning platform. And also we need to write Apex class by which we can show, by which we can get the test records from organization to Lightning Web Component. Let's go to the demo. Just give me a minute. So first of all, so this is my org. So when I logged into the system, I'm able to see all those case records from my organization. Currently, I think I have limited to 15 case records. So 15 case records are visible in my home page. Now I am coming to that. How can I set up this data, set up this development in my VS Code? So for that, first of all, I need to have one class, Apex class. Already I have written for this session. So the class name is the show cases controller. Just I will try to fetch the case records from my organization and just return those case records to the Lightning Web Component. So if I open the Lightning Web Component here, this is the very simple Lightning Web Component where just I need to show that the respective the case records, those columns are their case number, subject, origin, and status. And I am just trying to fetch those data, whatever that the class has returned to Lightning Web Component using wire adapter. So if I'll go to the JS file, you can see that I have just written, I have used the wire adapter, basically the wire function I have used. So and I have imported the Apex class, import get cases from Salesforce Apex show cases controller.get cases. So this get cases method will return all the case records to this Lightning Web Component, and this using wire adapter, we have assigned the property called these.cases, and these.cases will be assigned to our HTML file. In the HTML file, we are showing all those details using the field API name. That is our core structure. So again, I am telling you our session is the main purpose of the session is that how to execute test class from Visual Studio Code. So those development I have already previously done for this session. Now if I'll open this test class, so currently that test class is not having the test method. Just I have written how to set up the test data or create data for execution of our original class called show cases controller. Now, as per the slides, we have to set up some settings in Visual Studio Code. First of all, we need to go to the Visual Studio Code settings. Then you need to search retrieve test code coverage. So if it's unchecked, you just need to check. So at that point, you will get to know after running the test class, you'll get to know that the code coverage for your original Apex class. Next is that you need to click on that. Sorry, you have to check that the JDK path. So if this is already I have mentioned the JDK path here. When I have installed the Java JDK version 1.8.0, just I have mentioned here. So I would like to request you, please set up this path in Visual Studio Code settings, because after that, if you run the Apex test runner test runner in Visual Studio Code, you will not be able to see. Currently, I am not able to see any Apex test methods because till now I have not written any Apex test method for my project. So what I will do that, if I'll go to that test class again, just I need to write one test method here. So let's say, sorry, I can help this one as well. Let's say I want to cover this method, right? Showcases controller called get cases. So I can give the name as the test get cases. Now I need to mention the user. I means on which user basis we will perform that the test class. So here I already have created one user where alias is the standard. The profile I have taken as that the standard user. So I can mention here also. Let's say user. Where alias is equal to std. Now, as per best practice, we need to run as user or just is standard user object. Now we need to start the test class, start the test method. Let's stop test. Now we need to call our original method to cover. So the method name is the get cases. Our class's name is the showcases controller. So just I need to click on showcases controller dot get cases. Will come automatically. Now we have to put the asset statement. So for that I need to take one list here. Let's say it will return the case list. I can define here as well. Now I can put the asset equal statement here. So asset equality is nothing but to compare that the expected value and actual value. If it's equal, it will return true. That means your test case has been passed. Otherwise, it is failed. So expected value. So in the setup data, I have created one case record. Subject is that just like internet is not working in my machine. Status is equal to new. Origin is equal to web. So that means in my test data, only one case record is there. So expected is 1. Actual would be case list.size. That's it. So I think we have completed the test method for this execution. Let's deploy the org. It will take a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's deployed successfully in my org. So now if I click on the test runner and if we refresh, so you can see this test runner will show the test method of your Apex test class. Okay, so please ensure that you have to correctly mention the JDK path in VS Code settings. Otherwise, those test methods, this section will not come here. Now I have to run the test class. So you can see that is a good thing. You can see for each test method, the run test link is there. Automatically, it will come when you will write the test method, as well as the topmost of your test class. You can see run all tests. So when I will click on run all test, it will run all test methods for your this test class. And I will then run the particular when I will click on run test for the particular test method, it will run for only one test method. But for now, I will just click on here. Also from test runner, you can perform that you can execute the test class. Now, so I click on that. It's running. Okay, run Apex test successfully run. Now, how to see the code coverage? I need to just open this class showcases controller. Now, I need to click on that link, highlight Apex code coverage. So when I click on that, I can see how many lines are covered during my test case executions. So currently, I have covered all the lines except the return null statement. So in this way, you can perform the Apex test class from Visual Studio Code. And let's assume that if I will mention here, let's say assert equal to 2, and I am trying to deploy again. Successfully, again I will run the test class. Okay, so see, the assertion has been failed. That's why the color has been red. So if I open the terminal here, the system.assert exception assertion failed expected to actual 1. So in this way, you can perform the Apex test class from your Visual Studio Code. Just I have corrected this one. Okay. Now, same thing, we will see how to enhance or how to use the third-party tool to get to know the code coverage for my organization or for my project.
Before we go into that, the next slide. So one question over here. So it's run all test and run test is introduced by the extensions, right? It is not
Yes.
the annotations which Salesforce provides.
No, it's from only it's available from extensions.
Okay. Okay.
Now we will check how to use CodeCov to check code coverage. We will go through one by one. First of all, what is CodeCov? CodeCov is a code coverage reporting tool. You will get the code coverage for the entire project for your org or at real-time basis. You will get to know the code coverage, as well as it supports almost all GitHub features, just like pull request comments, commit status, and the merging reports. If you want to know about more on CodeCov, I would recommend you please go to this link and click on the resources, and you will get to all those documentations related to CodeCov, and please explore about CodeCov. And you need to check what are GitHub actions. So GitHub actions, basically it is used for CI/CD, continuous integration. GitHub actions are used to automate software workflows. It's easy to automate the project lifecycle process. You can get this obviously in your GitHub repository. That is the advantage. This helps to manage GitHub branches, just like any other CI/CD tool, and also it will help to manage the issue triaging. Last but not the least, it helps to review the code coverage with the help of CodeCov. Basically, let's say you have one requirement. Let's say in your organization there are two separate projects ongoing. One is for Sales Cloud, another one is for Service Cloud. Now you want to know what is my test code coverage for Sales Cloud application and what is my code coverage for Service Cloud application. So that is very difficult to get to know from the organization. Basically, you have to do, you have to execute some test classes responsible for Sales Cloud application, and then you have to copy all those coverages and try to do some averages, right? So instead of that, you will get to know from your GitHub branch. Let's say you have created two branches. One is for Sales Cloud, another one is for Service Cloud. And one branch is containing all Sales Cloud related codes along with the test classes. So for this branch, what is the code coverage? You will easily get to know with the help of code.
Arnab Chaudhary from our group, so he has a question over here. Is CodeCoff has a plugin to be integrated with VS Code?
No, this is not the plugin. This is plugin with the GitHub. We will show in the demo.
Okay, move on, please.
Next is that whoever wants to know the basic principles or basic feature of the Git or GitHub basics, I would recommend everyone please go to Trailhead and try to complete the module Git and GitHub basics. Now, just to know the basic detail of the GitHub Actions. One is that GitHub Actions are comprises of GitHub events with GitHub workflows. GitHub workflow is a YML based configuration file where we need to mention the order of execution to maintain GitHub Actions. So here you can see the picture that the GitHub event with the GitHub workflow. So GitHub workflow is nothing but comprises of the GitHub jobs of GitHub Actions. We will show all those steps in the demo. How to set up GitHub Actions in your VS Code? First of all, that you have to create the GitHub repository. After that, whatever you have written the code for your project, you can create a branch in the GitHub repository, then push the code into GitHub repository. And this command, you get to know that the SFDX auth URL we will discuss in this demo. Now the most interesting feature is that now GitHub Actions will allow to store the secret. So nobody can see that the secret, or nobody can update the, nobody can remove the secret if you restrict that the secret. Secret is nothing but to containing the password key for your Salesforce org. Maybe you can store that the client ID or client secret or auth URL, whatever else. Now, how to execute the GitHub action? You can execute GitHub Actions using ci.yml file mentioned in your project, in your root directory. Then again, you have to push the code into your GitHub repository. It will be automatically show what is the code coverage. It will automatically run the GitHub workflows. If you want to know more about the GitHub Actions, you can visit the cheat sheet, GitHub Action cheat sheet. So we are not changing the use case here because that the same use case we can consider to show how to execute the code coverage using third-party tool. Let's quickly go to the demo. So that is our project. Now what I will do, first I need to create the repository. New repository. Let's assume that okay, this is related to case management. Public, I have not picked anything. So my repository name is the case management. Okay. First option we have completed, just to create the repository. That's it. Now, whatever we have written, the class or Lightning Web Component, I want to push into GitHub repository. So you can push from that the in-house component from Visual Studio Code directly from source control, or you can execute the command, whatever the commands are visible in that the GitHub. So what I will do, just I will copy paste here, git init. Now I can add the files to stage, git add. I can commit. It's a first commit. So all the files are committed. Now that is the very important thing, because as you remember, always we refer to the master branch in GitHub repository. Currently this is changed to main. So be careful. You have to switch to main in GitHub repository. Otherwise it will not work. So git branch, I have just switched back to main. Then I need to connect the GitHub remote repository. Okay. Now just push. Everything I have completed, just I need to push it. Okay. So if I'll go to the code, I can see all the codes are coming here. Okay. Whatever I have written in VS Code. Now we have to set up the GitHub actions. Before that, already I have told that I need to know the secret of my org. So the respective virtual machine can log in on behalf of my machine. So let's say I need to execute this command first. sfdx codes to org is to display -u. Already I have authorized as my DevHub. So this is my DevHub org alias. So just I need to mention that my DevHub. And next is that C. So this command will show that the URL. Why we have okay, I have written wrong. Okay, sure. It should be force. Okay, basically it will show that the auth URL. Why do we need the auth URL? We will show you. But before that, okay, I am receiving error due to my firewall issue, my network issue. So when you will run this command, sfds force is to org is to display, you will not receive any error. So don't worry about this. So in the meanwhile, we can create a main file called ci.yml file, by which we can execute the GitHub action. So what I have written here, create a ci.yml file in .github/workflows file. Already I have created the basic principles of the ci.yml file. So I have created .github folder. Under GitHub folder, I have created the workflows folder. If I'll go to that, the GitHub folder, see, that is my repository, case management, and I have created the GitHub folder .github, and under this I have created the workflows folder, and under this I have created the ci.yml file. So that is the ci.yml file. So this file actually will help to run the GitHub workflow actions. So if I'll go to that one by one with respect to this file. So first of all, we have to mention that the ci.yml file name, this is the case management workflows. Next, we have to mention that the branch, that the main branch, when you will commit that the code into main branch, you will get it will be automatically executed on behalf of you. What is the code coverage for your branch, for your project directory? So this is the job. So this is the virtual machine, that the Ubuntu latest, and the steps. This is called -name. This means this is called the workflow actions. So I can write one by one. So first of all, I have to install the SFDX CLI. Whatever you have installed the SFDX CLI in your machine. So in the same way, I have just created a virtual machine called Ubuntu latest that is on Linux. So now I have to install that the SFDX CLI. So I have to write that install SFDX CLI and I have to mention some path. So don't worry about the ci.yml file. We will share that the ci.yml file so you can execute, you can hands-on on the GitHub workflow actions. Now what I will do, I'm just waiting for I'm waiting to result for this. Otherwise, we have that the auth URL. Just I want to show how can we execute the auth URL by executing this command. So what I will do, I have to create the scratch org. First of all, let's say create scratch org. Next, I need to mention that the run. So definitely, the code I already have. So what I will do, just I have written that the SFDX syntax here. The how to create the scratch org, same syntax whatever you are applying in your project, the scratch org JSON. Now we have to deploy that the code into scratch org. So what I will do, name. I think this syntax is giving the error. I need to terminate this job. Again, I need to run this job. Let's see. Okay. Coming to this syntax, name equal to deploy to scratch org. Run. So that is the deploy syntax. As all you know, SFDX force is to source is to post. I have written the same comment here. Now, what I will do, I will run the Apex Test Plus in the scratch org in the virtual way.
Antanu, so if you can maximize your screen, it will be visible to everyone. People has a request on that. Can you please check that if you can maximize the...
Just a minute, if I'll do...
if you are sharing the screen in the sharing mode, can you please check that it can be maximized or not, or it...
No, I think it cannot be maximized. This one?
Yes.
No?
Yeah, I think same. Let's continue. Okay, no problem.
Okay, no issue. Now run Apex test. What I'll do, I will run the Apex Test Plus in the scratch org. So just I need to mention that run unit test here. Next, we have to upload our code coverage, whatever the code coverage is, that let's say 75% or 90%, that result we need to upload from scratch org or from the execution to the code link. So I can write here. Here, let's say upload. Here I can write that upload Apex code coverage to code. Now just I have that the syntax. Now after the end of the process, we need to just delete that our scratch org. So let's say delete scratch org, run. Then just I need to click on that. So I have to mention that if any error will come during execution of Git workflow actions, you have to delete that the scratch org EB has been created. So it's best practice to just to write that EB is to always. So what you will do, it will always execute this command delete scratch org. Okay. Now this command actually is not work, unfortunately, in my machine. So don't worry. Already I've executed before this. So when you will execute this command sfdx force is to org is to display, so you will get this result. So here you can see that the sfdx auth URL, right? So this is that the using this auth URL we can authenticate our DevHub org. So from this DevHub org, the virtual machine will create the scratcher, deploy our code base to scratcher, and then run Apex test, then upload the code coverage to the code conf. I will do that. Just I copy this sfdx auth URL. So what you will do, just execute this command sfdx force is to org is to display -u, then your DevHub alias. Then after executing this command, you will get to know what is the sfdx auth URL. I just copy this thing. See here. Now in this repository, whatever I have pushed the code base, you just go to the settings. So I told you to create the secret. So this sfdx auth URL basically is the secret. So now I click on the secret, new repository secret. Now I paste this value here. This is that the sfdx auth URL. Now let's say I have commented, I have put this thing, Salesforce auth URL. That is the name of the secret. Now click on add secret. So after adding this secret, the secret would be locked. So you will not be able to see what is the value in the Salesforce auth URL. Now I have to mention in the ci.yml file, use the secret. So for that, let's say name. First, I need to populate the secret in the text file of my virtual machine. So populate. Let's say I can copy this thing, Salesforce auth URL. Secret. Okay. This is a shell script. So I can write this thing to bash. Next, I can write thing to echo secrets dot basically what this command will do, this command will copy that secrets Salesforce auth URL to the text file of the virtual machine. Now using this auth URL, we will log into the DevHub org. So now I need to authenticate DevHub. Now run. So for authenticate, the same code is there, whatever you have used earlier, the sfdx force is to auth is to sfdx URL is to store. So using this command, only using this command, you can log into Salesforce instance using Salesforce auth URL. Okay. So I believe I have completed the ci.yml file. Let's see. Save it. Now again, I need to push. Oh, already that is given. Let's see the same feature 958P. Yes, it's same. No issue. Already this command has written the result. Initially, it's throwing the error due to firewall, but it's written the result. So same way, you will get the sfdx auth URL, and you need to store in the secret of the GitHub repository. Now I have to commit this thing git add dot. Now get commit. Let's say updated ci.yml file. Okay. Now I have to push. So again, I will not write the master. It has changed from master to main. So I need to write that it was origin main. Let's see. So we have successfully pushed the code in the GitHub repository. Now, how can we see the GitHub workflow actions? You just go to that your repository, then you will get a tab called actions. Click on that actions. You can see the updated ci.yml file is there. Already that the comment we have given. Just click on that the view or profile. Then the whatever we have written that the ci.yml file is showing here. Now just need to click on the build. Now that the GitHub workflow actions has been executed. So that picture actually, if I'll go to the picture here, the GitHub workflow, that the GitHub action 1, 2, 3, and so on, you can see those actions are mentioned here. So if I'll go to the code base, I have written that the setup job here first, one by one, check out source code, Next, I need to copy that the Salesforce auth URL to main machine.txt, popular Salesforce auth URL secret. Using that the Salesforce auth URL secret, we are able to log in or DevHub, whatever that I have given the credentials. Now after that, it has created the scratch org on behalf of the DevHub. And after creation of the scratch org, it will deploy or enter code base to the scratch org. So those the headers, whatever you have seen, those are the nothing but whatever I have written in the name row. So those are coming over here. So let's say deploy to scratch org, and this command has been executed. sfdx force is to source is to push. So using this command, the entire code base has been pushed or has been deployed in the scratch org. And in the scratch org, it has been executed the Apex test class. So you can see in the scratch org, system has performed the Apex test class. The number of lines are covered, the percentage is that 83.3%. And that the test has been passed. As well as after running the Apex test, that is the most important thing, it will upload the code coverage to CodeCov. I will coming to this point. Now, after uploading the coverage to CodeCov, it has been, after all those things successfully executed, then we just need to delete the scratcher using this command, sfdx force to org is to delete. After deleting the scratcher, the job has been completed and we have executed successfully the GitHub actions. That is actually GitHub actions. Now, what is the benefit? What is the benefit if I write the ci.yml file and I have executed all those commands with respect to that the test code coverage? What are the benefits I will get? If I'll go to the code, now in the beside tab, in the side tab, so I can just open that the codecov.io. So already we have uploaded the code coverage to the codecov. This branch case management. Just open that the codecov.io. Now you have to log in using GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. Currently we are using GitHub. So already initially I have logged in GitHub. So it will show. So our project name is that. Already it has been logged in using my GitHub credential. So our project name is the case management. So just I need to click on that case management. And you can see the code coverage here in the CodeCov. That is actually CodeCov. So in the CodeCov, all repository results or all the branches result will come here. So here already we have uploaded the code coverage into the CodeCov. So we can see the number of among six lines, the 5 lines have been executed. So the coverage is 83.60%, and one line is uncovered. That is the lines missed.
Hey Shantanu, there is a question raised by Bhanu Prakash. So without the scratch org, can't we directly deploy these things into the DevOps?
Yes, you can do that.
You can do that.
Not an issue. Yes, you can do that. You just need to change the comment here. Currently, we are using the scratcher. You just need to put your original or credential for where you want to deploy. After execution, you have to upload the code coverage to the code. That syntax is the important. Otherwise, it will not work.
Okay. I think it makes sense, Banu. And the second thing, I am just curious that you are, if you can go to the thing, code cover. So you are actually showing these code coverages from the code cov, right? Now, why should I navigate from GitHub to code cov to see these code coverages? Is there any other any other benefits you want to show over here so that I can see integrated GitHub as well as kind of code cov both together?
Yes, that's the good question. Instead of that, you can directly get to know what is the code coverage for your branch in the same page. Okay, so just you have to go to the settings of the code cov. And you can see that the batch is there. So I need to copy this batch, and that is very interesting thing. I just need to copy this batch, and what I will do in my repository in the README file, let's assume that code coverage. I just put this batch in my README file. So after committing that the README file, after push this README file, you will get to know what is the code coverage for this branch. So you don't need to switch to code cov multiple times. Okay. So now I will just save it. Again, I need to commit this thing, git add. Sorry. Next, git commit. Updated README file. Done. Now I will do push. Push the code base into my GitHub repository with the updated README file. So from where you will get this link, just go to the code cov settings and you will get the batch. Now just I need to refresh this repository and see what happens. Yes, now you can see in the README file the code coverage. Now for this branch, the code coverage is that 83%. So you don't need to switch to code cov multiple times. So if in your project, if any developer, whenever any developer will commit that the code into GitHub branch, you can see that what is the code coverage for what is the current code coverage for this repository.
Thank you.
And that's it for how to use third-party tool to get to know the code coverage from the VS Code as well as from your GitHub repository. Now we have not performed to execute the LWC unit test script. Right? So now my next session, my next topic is that. Just give me a moment. Okay. Now we will see what is that, how to set up for LWC code coverage from VS Code. So obviously, to write the LWC test script, you need to install the jest command, or to execute the test script, you need to install the jest extension in your VS Code. So you will get the extension of your VS Code. And after installation of jest, you need to see what are the comments you have to follow to see the code coverage for LWC from VS Code. Now, you have to perform certain operations in your client side. Before that, I need to go back to the previous slide. So here the two options you can install Jest in your local repository or in your local directory or VS Code. One is that you can get the GitHub link for the Jest release. We'll share this link after this session, not an issue. Or you can install directly code-install extension, or you can install the Jest extension in your VS Code. Now, after performing after performing the LWC unit test script, you just need to click on the Jest toggle coverage overlay. So after executing this command in the same VS Code, you can see the coverage, how many lines you have covered in your JS file of your Lightning Web Component. So here you can see this is the Lightning Web Component, and you can see that the 75% line has been covered, but whatever the lines are not covered, those are highlighted in the red color. So in this way, you can execute the code coverage for LWC from VS Code. Now, how to write Lightning Web Component test script? Again, this session is not to write how to write the test script. However, we are just showing from where you can learn how to write Lightning Web Component test script. One is that in the tailhead module is there Lightning Web Component test. Please complete this module, so you will get to know how to write the Lightning Web Component test using SFDX Jest plugin installed in the VS Code. As well as I have my own blog in the santanuadonline.com. You can visit my blog and check what are the basic principles you have to follow when you want to write Lightning Web Component script. Let's see how to run LWC test using CodeCov. So basically, for that, you want to show here, just click on the extension and search with Jest. Just install it. Okay. Yes. So due to unfortunately my machine has some problem. So no issue. We will see how to use just before that. Just install the Jest and execute the command. Whatever else I have shown in the slides, that the Jest toggle coverage overlay. You will see how many lines are covered in your test script. And if I'll go to the file in the LWC, this is my LWC and customer cases.js file. Now for this I have to write a script here. So what I will do, as per Salesforce basic principles, so you have to create _ tests _ folder below in your Lightning Web Component folder. So just I have created the folder tests, and under test I have created the data folder where I have to mention the test data, the client side script. So I have created the get cases.json file where I have mentioned the case records just like mentioned in Salesforce org. So when it will perform to execute the Lightning Web Component for testing, it will take those data and to perform the test script. And obviously you have to write test script for this Lightning Web Component. Basic principle of this test script is that the Lightning Web Component name test.js. Now this test class already, this test script already we have written. That is the describe, means in the describe method you have to mention that the Lightning Web Component name, and among below describe method you have to mention that the for which operation you want to perform the Lightning Web Component test execution. So we will not show you that functionality because that the Jest is not installed at this point in time. So what we will do, we will show how to perform the same test using CodeCov, whatever we have seen previously for Apex, whatever we have executed for Apex test class. Now we will try to execute the same thing for Lightning Web Component. For that, just I need to update that the ci.oeml file. What I will do here, first of all, I need to install all npm dependencies in my virtual machine. So what I will do, name, let's say install npm dependencies. Next is that run let's say npm install. So npm I means npm install. Now I need to execute the test script, test code here, just like in Apex. Just I need to copy this thing. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Now let's say run LWC test, Lightning Web Component test. Now just I need to perform the test execution. npm run test is to unit is to coverage. Let's see, and test is coverage. Then upload LWC code coverage to code action and flags LWC. That's it. So I have to install that the npm dependencies first, and then LWC code coverage to code. I have to execute the command npm run test is to unit is to coverage. Before that, just I need to show you where that I got to know this command. So if I open that package.json file on my repository, the script is there. In the script, you can see the test is to unit is to debug, or test is to unit is to coverage. In this C, you can see SFDX LWC jest. So to write that the Lightning Web Component test script, you have to install that the SFDX LWC jest file that is provided by Salesforce as part of extension. The same way, I just need to put the command in the package.json file, in the ci.yml file, the run npm run test is to unit is to coverage. Now again, I will try to commit that code. Let's say add a commit that ci file for LWC. Now I need to push the code to main branch. I need to push the code branch. Sorry. Okay. So we have successfully pushed the codes to GitHub branch using the ci.yml file. Now, if I'll go to that, what is that? Again, I will click on the actions. Already it is executed, it's queued. Then I'm going to the workflow file and click on the build. Same way, it's executing the GitHub workflow accept. So currently I have updated that the install npm dependencies. It will take time to install all npm dependencies in the virtual machine.
Basically, you're talking about that I can run both the client-side scripts as well as the server-side scripts to test these, to test our functionality, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes. So after installation of npm dependencies, the auth using Salesforce auth URL, that the dev org has been logged in, and after that, system will create the scratch org. Successfully created the scratch org, and code has been deployed to scratch org again, and run Apex test. Apex test has been executed successfully. Upload Apex code coverage to CodeCobb. Then run LWC test. It also has been executed successfully. And after execution of LWC test, that the result has been pushed to the CodeCobb. All those results has been pushed. See the results from here. We can see from directly CodeCobb. After performs all operations, system will delete the scratch work and complete the job. How you get to know here? Just click on that overview in the CodeCobb. I can click on that house report. I need to go to files. I need to go to the in the GitHub folder. The classes and LWC test scripts are there, right? So it will show. See, two things we can notice here. One is for server side, another one is for client side. So that the showcases controller, that is our Apex class. Another one is that the customer cases is a Lightning Web Component. So in the Apex class, the total number of lines is 6. So among 6 lines, 5 lines are executed, and 1 line has been missed. The coverage is 83.3%. Now for customer cases JS file, the total lines is 8, 6 lines are covered, and 2 lines are missed. If I click on that customer cases.js, I can see all those lines are covered. The error part is not covered. So I will easily get to understand how many lines are covered in as part of the Lightning Web Component script. So in this way, you can use the CodeCobb with the GitHub Actions to get to know the code coverage for your repository. Okay. Now, coming to this guidelines on testing strategy. So as all you know, when do we need unit testing? One is that unit testing is nothing but an individual piece, easy to test and perform early. Next, the integration testing, it's test the interactions together. It means test that multiple pieces together. Obviously, the complexity is medium. Sometimes it can be high. The integration tests can be performed in the middle of project execution or in the middle of the operation. And at last, that the end-to-end testing that simulates user interaction. In the end-to-end testing, you can perform testing using Selenium tool. That complexity is little bit high than other testing, just like unit testing and integration testing. Obviously, it will be performed at the end of the project life cycle. Now, already we have discussed the testing tools, purpose, the server side and the client side. Server side, already Salesforce has provided the framework called Apex Unit Test Framework. We have to write that the Apex testers to check our business functionality, how much functionality we are able to cover, and how many lines are covered, and what are the best practices to follow, write the Apex unit test. Obviously, you need to maintain the rules from VS Code. You have to enable that the retrieve test code coverage in the VS Code. Otherwise, you cannot perform the test class from the VS Code. For client side, there are lots of tools to execute the client side scripting for test case execution. One is the Jest. It is the popular framework to test the client side scripting. Currently, that Jest is useful for Lightning Web Component. Jasmine and Mocha already we have used for the Aura code. At the previous, as you all know, we have written that the Aura component. So for Aura component, we have used the Jasmine to execute that the client side scripting testing. And obviously, some rules we have to follow from the VS Code need to be installed npm as well as that the SFDX LWC Jest modules. Remember this thing, whatever you have written the client side test scripting, just now we have shown, right? Customer cases test.js file that should not be pushed, or that will not be pushed in your organization or in your org. What we have seen here, the workflow with GitHub Actions. First, we have to write our codes for your project or for our business purpose. Then we have to push the code in the GitHub Actions using Salesforce auth URL, using the Salesforce auth URL secret. You have to write the ci.yml file to execute the GitHub workflow actions. After that, it will automatically call that the code if your ci.yml file has that the code syntax, it will upload the code coverage to the code for Apex and LWC, what we have seen, and then again that the recycling process, you have to change something in the code, and then you have to put some GitHub code into GitHub Actions. Now, at the end of this session, we can describe that the sample gallery. Whoever doesn't know about sample gallery, I would recommend to everyone is visit that the sample gallery. So if you'll go to the sample gallery site, so you will get to know all those ready-made code already Salesforce has provided as part of the sample gallery project. You can see that the e-bikes or LWC open recipes, LWC recipes project, as well as Apex, how to write the Apex class, or how to write that the Lightning Web Component open source. Those codes are ready-made, so you can easily use and enhance your project. Now, recap. Already we have covered. So first, we have covered why do we need and maintain these classes in our project. We need to check that the how much functionalities we have covered as per the test class executions. Setting up to see Apex code coverage from Visual Studio Code. We have seen how to set how to set up the VS Code to see the code coverage, and how to leveraging the third-party tool just like CodeCov to check the all code coverages. CodeCov is not the plugin of the VS Code. Just you need to log in to CodeCov using your GitHub credential, and whatever process we have followed, you just need to maintain. First, you have to create the ci.yml file as part of the GitHub Actions, and you have to store that the Salesforce auth URL secret in the GitHub repository. Now, for LWC, obviously, you have to install the JS to see that the coverage from your LWC test script, as per your client-side scripting. And at last, we have seen that the guidelines to follow the testing strategy and the sample gallery. This is very good website to learn about the Lightning Web Component and any other Salesforce features. It will be always updated for each release provided by Salesforce. Now the session is Q&A.
Hey Shantanu, thank you so much for sessions for all our participants, and especially for developers who can able to set up these things quickly and efficiently, and it will help us to establish the writing the good coding practices, testing our functionality, to see the code coverages upfront, everything all together in these sessions. And we are open for our QA, so feel free to put your questions. So Suman Saha has raised one question. Can you please repeat retrieve test coverage setting in VS Code?
No, retrieve test code coverage. If I'll go to the settings here, so if I'll search that retrieve test, sorry. So you have to check that the retrieve test code coverage. What Salesforce or VS Code will do, whatever test class you will perform, all those code coverage VS Code will store. Okay? So it's always not recommended to check this checkbox to enable this retrieve test code coverage. Okay, when you need, you have to just check this functionality.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay.
Okay, fine. We have organized this session from our Salesforce Kolkata developer group. So please follow us on our Telegram, the Kolkata developer group, as well as we have the Twitter handler, SFDS Cold Dev group, as well as we have the LinkedIn group called Digital Trailblazer. So please visit, please follow us, so you will get to know what is the updated session we will organize. Our blogs, I am the blogger, so I have my own blog called santanu@online.com. And for Mr. Santanu Boral, he has the blog santanuboral.blogspot.com. So please visit those blogs to get to know that the Salesforce features or that the updated code, whatever we have written in our blog. Stay fit and stay safe. Thank you everyone. Whoever participates, definitely we will share this session. After this, we will share this recording after this session. Thank you everyone. Thanks again. Goodbye.
Thank you, Santanu, and thank you everyone for joining with us and make us successful. We'll hope to see more sessions on technical side of it, and please follow us over Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook also. Thank you, everyone. We are ending this session.